So hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel, and to the new people that have joined, whether it be you've just recently joined, subscribe to the channel, or whether you are just here on today's video because you've just seen my video and thought, you know what, I'm just going to give this a watch. Well, welcome, and I hope you enjoy. If you would like to know more about what I'm trying to achieve here on the channel, please go into my YouTube page and you will see the video that's the intro video that explains a little bit more about what I'm doing here, what the Bubble family truly means, where it started, and kind of like, I guess, my mission statement for what I would like to do. So for the rest of you, you should know what to do by now. So if you don't, because this is part 2 of the cut interview, so I'm doing part 2. So if you'd like to join me, you should know what to do by now. And if you don't, and you're new here, then please sit back, relax, because I do this in every video. Grab your drink of choice, whether it be tea, whether it be coffee, whether today I'm being healthy and I'm drinking just plain old water, because I'm feeling very sluggish and I just feel like I need to just flush out my system a little bit. So whether you are drinking any of those, whether you're drinking a sparkly beverage, whether you would like to add some rum or brandy or whatever it is you want to add to your drink of choice, because as I always say, and what I do behind me, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So let's grab that drink and dive right in. So, part 2. Now, if you'd like to stay for the end, I give my little bit of waffle. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's just where I just talk about random things that are coming up for me, things I might have felt in this video, just random chit chat with you guys, because I like doing that. So that's always going to be at the end of my videos. So yeah, here we go. Part 2. So if you've recovered from yesterday, I'm not sure I have, but we're going in. Let me just bring the camera down a little bit because, yeah. Meghan's journey from deal or no deal suitcase girl. Oh my Lord. To princess. Yeah, it literally says that here. Now, yesterday, I will say that a few of you said you felt that the person that was supposedly who'd written this was actually sort of mocking her. I do get a sense of that. So what I feel, because we all know narcissists like the control, I feel she wrote this and then I think it got tweaked. I think she wrote this. Either she wrote it or she was very much instrumental in writing it, as in like the way she did funding freebies. This screams Meghan's wording. Because it literally here, from the very next bit, Meghan's journey from deal or no deal suitcase girl to princess had the makings of a fairy tale, or at the very least, a stellar romantic comedy. But it took almost no time to turn into an extraction plot from a mid-90s political thriller. Who words things like this? I feel like I'm not even any words can really... It's not a fairy tale, that's for sure. I mean, I agree with the fact that it had the makings of. Initially, when she first come on the scenes, I think pretty much everybody was excited to get to know her, to see what she could bring to the royal family. So I think, yes, it absolutely, I will agree with that. It had the makings of a fairy tale. The seemingly storybook wedding in 2018, was that the wedding that she called a farce? And that she apparently got married 3 days prior from the yeah, was it a $40 million wedding or whatever it was? Was followed by a year of clandestine conversations with the 1,002-year-old institution dubbed the firm. I dislike this very much, and I think that it's a real insult. And it's not, and of course this makes sense actually, because she doesn't, this magazine is not a fan of the royal family. So now obviously this makes absolute sense why she's gone with this magazine. But it's, again, this is Meghan, because it's conversations. She says this word a lot, conversations. We must have uncomfortable conversations. She absolutely wrote this. There's no, in my mind, there's no shadow of a doubt that she wrote this either with the author, the person that's the name on here, but she was most definitely instrumental in this wording. During which the couple asked for help in relieving Meghan's declining mental health. Again, just someone that doesn't fact check anything. Just because Meghan utters the words, they do not make it so. The fact that the royal family are instrumental in working with mental health, heads together. You know, they've done numerous charities with working with mental health. Harry, Catherine and William sat down and did a talk on mental health. Harry spoke about how instrumental it was to have a therapist. They have the top people in their field on their doorstep practically. It's like one phone call away. And she basically is creating everyone to believe that that it's all about her and that they were not interested in helping her. Absolute BS. Absolute. But again, this shows exactly how tone deaf she is when we're in an absolute crisis everywhere, energy crisis, and she brings out this article about, oh, just nobody asked me if I was okay. Oh. So yeah, so when these talks went nowhere, there were even more clandestine conversations with a network of rich and powerful friends. I mean, honestly, who speaks like this? That led to the escape to Vancouver Island. But even this is literally, they escaped to Vancouver Island for a 6-week holiday. Who has the luxury of having a 6-week holiday? Who? Honestly, it's, oh, I've got a big old, I wonder what that was. I thought it was a big old black circle. So she escapes after being in the family for 5 minutes and has a 6-week holiday on Vancouver Island. Oh, the hardship. That turned into something far more permanent. Yeah, it was orchestrated that way. That's why. It was from there, and I'm not going to say their titles, Harry and Meghan made a surprise announcement. No, I don't believe it was a surprise. That they will be stepping back from their roles as senior members of the royal family. This was a classic, I didn't get what I want, so I'm throwing my toys out the pram. In an Instagram so full of hidden context and meaning that MI6 could use it for message decoding training. So the sarcasm here. See, I don't think Meghan would have been part of that. So I do feel that there's been, this author has been orchestrated so that it's almost like she's written this and said, right, you know, this is what's got to go in. The only thing I'm a little bit unsure of is surely they would have had to show her the article and say, look, this is what we're printing. Because some of this stuff, I unless she just completely misses the point, I don't really understand how because there is definitely some sarcasm here. Oh, my computer's frozen. Of course you have. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. They're accepted exit get my words out. Exit terms for Megxit, to use the term the papers favoured, even though Harry declared it misogynistic. Stipulated that the couple would no longer make appearances on the behalf of the Queen. No, it would no longer be permitted to use the HRH designation, and would make their own money. Although apparently Prince Charles provided some financial assistance for the first year. So they were left public. So they were left sans public. I don't know what that means. Sans public funding to bankroll both their lives, and security that protected those lives. And the press had just leaked the location of their coastal home. Now, no, because when they moved to Tyler Perry's, they released a statement saying they had found their home, and they released almost the address. They put out a statement, I believe, saying that they were moving to Montecito. So no, I'm not having that. They purposely did that. Now, knowing everything I know about a narcissist, nothing is without an agenda. So when they want privacy and their privacy gets exposed, they don't like it. They then go and start suing everybody. However, when they want to utilize something, the press, they will expose their privacy. For example, oh, we're turning up here for dinner. Please come along and take photographs. Oh, we're moving to our alleged Montecito mansion. Here it is. This is why I do not believe that they actually live in this mansion. I don't. I really, really don't. Now, whether or not they live on the cottage, whether or not it was bought as a tax dodge or something, I don't know, but I don't believe they actually live in that mansion. First and foremost, numerous people have reported the fact that the guardhouse outside is very overgrown. The fact that there's numerous reports on, oh, we've had security breaches and things like that. You know, they have to report this in the media, and yet almost like trying to create the illusion they live there. There's been no footage of them coming and going from there. No one's, because I'm pretty sure there'll be people trying to see. Nothing. And not only that, when they first declared that they moved there, it was actually a location house for filming. And I proved this, and I probably think if I dig back far enough, I could probably got the evidence somewhere. But when they said that they were living there, firstly, they divulged the address, which I don't believe they would have done because it would have been a security risk, and they would have been advised not to do this. Secondly, when they alleged were living there, I actually went through the whole thing to book it for filming. And it took me to the payment page. I literally booked it, I think, for 7 nights. I mean, it was some extortionate amount. I don't know, it ended up being like 30,000 or something like that. It was a crazy amount per night. It's like $7,000 per night, per day or something of filming. And it took me right to the payment page. Now, obviously, I didn't pay that because I've got no interest in going and filming there. But it showed that it was available. Now, this got then circulated around Twitter, and then all of a sudden the page went down. But then at some point then it popped back up again, I believe, and then it went down again. Now, okay, some people have argued that this was an error, but I'm sorry, when you are the prince of a UK country, when there is massive security risks potentially, you wouldn't make this kind of error. So I think that they use it for when they used to do their podcasts and videos and stuff or whatever it was. I think they use that for filming. I think they use a room. I do not believe, and this is just my opinion, I don't believe they live there. I've said this for a while, I don't believe they're together, but I most certainly do not believe, and that's why they've created this bit in the beginning where it's kind of like, oh, stepped through the Californian doors, and there's all this no, people don't speak like this. I really don't think they do, and I think it's just, again, to create the illusion. So then they were, terribly left to fund their own lives, even though they were being bankrolled by Prince Charles for millions. And he had his payout from his mother, millions. But apparently the press had just released. Trying to say released and leaked at the same time. Never a good move when you've got menopause. Of the coastal home they were staying in. By March 2020, the pandemic was well underway, and there was talk of the Canadian-US border closing. They could see men on boats watching them from the... Paranoia much? Have you seen the picture of that place where they stayed? How? Were they up there with binoculars? They saw people in boats watching them from the water. Cool, their eyesight's good. I want what they've got. Oh my goodness. Just actually what the truth of it was is that they just didn't want to stay there anymore, because I think they were up for paying taxes or something, and they didn't even say thank you to the person who loaned him the mansion. They just basically just went around the pandemic because they didn't want to be caught there. Honestly, they're just the lies that she tells. It's just ironic. Though Meghan had never met Tyler Perry in person, he had reached out when she and Harry got married to tell her that he was praying for her and that he understood what she meant. Meghan recalls referring to the symbolic weight of their wedding. Oh, this woman is so ungrateful. So ungrateful. It's not even funny. And that he could only imagine what it was like. She didn't have to get married to Harry. She didn't have to have the huge wedding. According to her own words, she had a wedding 3 days prior, albeit that we know that she didn't. And like I've said before in one of my previous videos, I think this was a dig at Trevor, because she got married prior to the wedding with Trevor. She could have chosen, her and Harry could have chosen how to have that wedding. I believe the Queen even offered to give them a smaller wedding, and then she could continue to do her work, her acting work. She wanted the huge wedding. She wanted all the fanfare. She wanted what Catherine had. Let's be clear. Trust me, the thoughts that are going on in my head right now. There are times when I wish I did not run a therapy channel. Believe you me, there are times when I do. Because as a therapist, you are held to a higher standard. And I understand that. I respect it. But sometimes when I'm seeing things that are written or this type of thing, I really want to just let rip. But I'm not. He said he also told Meghan to call if she ever needed support or advice. Yeah, okay then. It took her a long time to do so, she admits, but once she did, she found herself telling him every detail of their situation in Canada. Of course she did. It's called love bombing. It's called, I need something from you, so I'm going to create that I need you, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that. I'm going to manipulate you, because then what he did was he offered his mansion. So she got what she wanted. Sometimes you can tell your story, your life story, to a stranger on a plane as opposed to some of the people that are closest to you. All right, to be fair, yes, that can be true. That can be true. I'll give her that one. Oh, and in a plot twist, dun dun dun, which I may never get over, she says. I just might never get over this. Perry offered one of his homes, a literal safe house in the Beverly Hills, complete with security detail. She's never going to get over, she might never get over that, apparently, even though she knew exactly what she was doing. And became in many ways the reason that Meghan and Harry started their new life in Southern California. No, they had every intention of going over there. They just needed to find a sucker that would help them do it. And they did in Tyler Perry. I'm sorry, but they did. She did, rather. It's all like, oh, poor is me. It's like, oh, my life is so tragic. I've gone from living in a palace in the UK, a castle, to, oh, I need your help. I need a private jet to fly me somewhere. Oh, this woman is nothing but calculated. But she already covered all of this in the interview for Oprah. She reminds me with a firm smile and a wave of her hand that signals it is time to move on. Be off with you. In March 2021, a year after they'd left for America, Meghan and Harry put rumours about Megxit to rest. They took part in an interview special with their neighbour and collaborator Oprah Winfrey that attracted 17 million views. I thought she wasn't going to talk about it then because she'd already discussed it. But here we are now about to discuss the Oprah interview. Because we've got to put that straight, because obviously the backlash from that, we've got to just use this opportunity to put that straight. Like we've had to, you know, make sure that everyone believes that Archie's real, or that she's really a mum, or that Harry's her husband. But we've got to get in the fact that obviously it raked in 17 million viewers. Meghan, please, I mean, not that I think she watches this, but please don't be fooled by the fact that this was 17 million people who are your fans. These are people that literally are tuning in, journalists, probably the royal family, to see this car crash of a disgusting interview that you put out there when Harry's grandfather was dying in hospital. So let's be clear here. Over the course of 85-minute special, she dropped bombshells about Charles not taking Harry's phone calls. Oh, boo-hoo. Well, no offence, but when you treat your father the way you've treated him, he's not going to take your phone calls. About palace, conversations. We've got conversations again. I think she's mentioned this about 4 times up till now. Conversations where and then in brackets, still unnamed. And I think this is where the sarcasm is. Some kvetched over how dark Archie's skin would be. But again, doesn't mention about the fact that there were 2 different stories. One was when Harry said that it happened when he first got with Meghan and a conversation happened, which we all now know happened, and he laughed and joked about it. So what I would imagine, it's a bit like the Will Smith scenario. Laughed and joked, saw his wife's face and was like, okay, she's not finding that funny. I now need to double down and do something else about this now. So I'd imagine laughed and joked about it, probably spoke about it to Meghan, and she was like, I'm not having that. No, we're not having that conversation. So then what she's done is she's twisted it and turned it and rolled it in some dough and stuck spikes in it and gone, we're going to use that later on. And so that's what she's done. That's why I think when she reiterated that story, she did it when she was on her own. So then when Oprah brought it on with Harry, he had no choice but to kind of back her up. But that's why he went, well, I don't want to talk about it, because he knew she was lying. That story happened, I think, between probably a conversation with Harry, laughed and joked about it, told Meghan she didn't like it, she weaponized it, and then used it to say when she was pregnant with Archie. But no one really called her out on that. And again, doesn't call her out here. She lied. So purely and simply, she took an innocent story, which a lot of people will do when they discuss children, who they're going to look like, and she decided to turn it into something really nasty and horrible. To utilise it against the royal family. Then she clarified that it was Kate Middleton who made her cry over flower girl dresses. Yeah, okay, this is a narcissist. The only time she'll ever cry is when she's pretending to cry. We already know that she made Catherine cry because Catherine had just had her baby and she was mean to Charlotte. She made Catherine cry, but Catherine, being the lovely lady that she was, she decided to try and make amends, to create Meghan to feel a little bit more welcome. So she took flowers round, and Meghan basically threw them in the trash. So we all know that story. So again, lie. So she had to bring that out because it's bothering her. The fact that we have these stories reiterated here, it's bothering her that the media are not believing her. Believe you me, she might like the fact that she's in the paper and she's on social media and she's being talked about, but it is bothering her that people are not believing her, which is why she has to keep regurgitating the same stories to try and hit it home that what the truth is not the truth. Her version is the truth. So as the tabloids had previously reported, bombshells and I'm not going to say it, leaks and recollections, racism against babies. This was definitely not a fairy tale, but revealing all of it was their way of setting fire to a narrative they didn't control and letting a new one emerge. Yeah, simply being, we don't like negative press. We only want positive press. We only want adulation. And if we don't get it, we're going to sue. We're going to create merry hell. That's exactly all this is. Because when you are a celebrity or a public figure, it comes with the territory. Even Diana had to deal with that. Everybody does. Even something little, like when you do a YouTube channel, you know that you have to deal with the negative plus the positive. It's there. You've just got to get a bit of a thicker skin around it. It's upsetting. It's not nice to see. I see a lot of things, which are not true. But these people don't matter. They're strangers. They don't matter. People that know who I am know that none of this is true. Same with her. But it's narcissism. She must have everyone believing that she is the second coming, basically. My first glimpse of Meghan in this new chapter is her crouched in the entryway, arms wrapped around her black lab Pula. And then it has to give you the meaning of what the dog's name means. Irrelevant. The front doors are thrown wide open, as are the doors leading out to the backyard. She stands and smiles with a perfect level. What's the perfect level of warmth? Does she have a thermometer? What's the perfect level of warmth? The gleam from her teeth, rivaled only by the shininess of her blowout. What? Let me read that again, just for comedy factor. The front doors are thrown wide open, as are the doors leading out to the backyard. She stands and smiles with the perfect level of warmth, the gleam of her teeth rivaled only by the shininess of her blowout. I can't work out if that's serious sarcasm. I don't understand why it's even relevant. Why? Honestly. The perfect level of warmth. I have a perfect level of warmth when I have a hot flush. Oh, honestly, I feel like I need to fan myself. Where's my fan? I feel like actually I'm laughing so much it's making me go hot. Oh no, got this one. Just give me a minute, please. Feel my face going redder and redder. So backlit by the late morning light in a scene that looks like a Nancy Meyers cinematic interior town and country goop and architectural design had an orgy, good choice of words there, I'd imagine, and created the perfect moment in California living. She throws her arms wide open and give me a break. Come on through, she says, beckoning me to join her on the one of many terraces. Give me a break. The Montecito house is the kind of big that startles you into remembering that unimaginable wealth is actually someone's daily reality. Yeah, so stop your moaning and whining and complaining and be grateful for what you've been given by the royal family. It evokes a classic Tuscan villa, a Napa vineyard, and a manicured Beverly Hills. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Ugh. Finding a house to start their new life wasn't easy. Well, it didn't take them long, did it? Meghan tells me. We were looking in this area. Of course she was, because she wanted to be with all the rich and famous people. She's referring to Montecito, the Tony Beachside hamlet north of Los Angeles. And this house kept popping up online in searches. Did it though? Did it? Because it was being used for filming. So did it really? Or were they trying to find a house that they could use for filming and they could pay for? And that's why it kept popping up. At first, they resisted going to visit. We didn't have job. We didn't have jobs. They still don't. They still don't have a job. So we just were not going to come and see this house. It wasn't possible. It's like when I was younger and you're window shopping. It's like, I don't want to go and look at all those things that I can't afford. What? 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 You were given literally everything you wanted by your father. He literally paid for everything. He literally gave you everything you wanted. So I'm pretty sure that if you did go to a window and went, oh, I really like that, Daddy, can I have it? He would have gone, yes, of course you can, darling. There you go. What a crock of poo. How utterly humbled we all are when confronted with a depressingly aspirational Zillow hunt. What? But I'm guessing they finally succumbed to her, no, we can't go and view it, we don't have jobs, darling, to let's go and view it. They did eventually tour it and fell almost immediately in love. And since they have income now in the form of a reported 25 million Spotify deal that she's done, what, three podcasts now? 3, 4 maybe? And a reported 100 million Netflix deal. It wasn't, and if you haven't seen my video on that, please go and look. They did not get this amount of money for Netflix. They didn't. Meghan stops to point out two massive Dr. Seussian palm trees dead center on a lawn so verdant it's better not to consider the water bill. Yeah, while the rest of us are in crisis, let's rub it in that you can afford your water bill. Yeah, let's do that. That's really great. Really great way to connect with the world at large. One of the first things my husband saw when we walked around the house was those two palm trees. She coos. See how they're connected at the bottom, he goes. My love, it's us. What? So, okay, he goes to look at two palm trees, which are brown, rough, with spiky palms at the leaves at the top. And he says, see how they're connected at the bottom? That's us. Ugh. Guttural noise. Ugh. Oh, give me a break. Oh, and now every day when Archie goes up, he says, hi, Mama, hi, Papa. So apparently, but when he goes up to the trees, he says, hi, Mama, hi, Papa. So Archie spends more times talking to the trees than he does his own parents. I'm surprised he hasn't done, like, what's that film? Castaway, with Tom Hanks with the coconut, drawing little faces on them. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say that, but it's so farcical. It's laughable. They had toured only the grounds when they told the real estate agent, we have to get this house, Meghan says. It didn't matter that they hadn't seen the inside. What? So that as long as the grounds look okay, it doesn't matter what the inside looks like. Well, that's classic narcissism, isn't it? As long as when the planes and the drones fly over it, it looks amazing. It doesn't matter what the inside looks like. Oh, she's just full of BS, honestly. Meghan gestures to the sweep of the property from chicken coop to pool house to main house. Eventually, they purchased it for 14.65 million. Oh, I wouldn't have taken it then. Oh, really, honestly, like I say, when the rest of the world is in crisis, there are people that are starving. There are people losing their lives. There are people, they've done this throughout the whole pandemic. They have, honestly, this rubbing in your face how much we're worth, how much wealth we have is disgusting. You know, there are so many people out there, and you know, and I'll include the royal family in this, that have got money. And the royals have been slated for moving house and school or whatever. You know, they've been accused of being tone deaf. And maybe people are right, you know, in this day and age. But they are no different from celebrities in a way. They are no different from the fact that there are celebrities living in mansions and just doing whatever they want, while a lot of us are struggling. At least with the royal family, they give something back. These two do nothing. So they've got this huge mansion, which she hasn't got a qualm about talking about in this day and age. So then she says, we did everything to get this house. Oh, I believe she did. If we look at the way she behaved when it come to getting a dog that she wanted, which was promised to another family, and she bombarded the kennels with her friends and her Suits cast and everything to get this dog, using that. Oh, I absolutely believe if anyone else was interested, she would have done everything possible to stop them from getting this house. She leans her head back and lets, do you know what the worst thing is? I have to go through the pictures. We did everything we could to get this house. She leans her head back and lets the sun beam down into her pores. Oh, please. Because you walk in and go, she takes a deep inhale through her nose and breathes out her mouth. Joy and exhale and calm. It's healing. You feel free. Oh, shut up, Meghan. I'm just going to quickly see how far down this goes. Oh, there's just so much of it. Oh my God, how long is this article? How long have I been doing this for? See, 40 minutes now. Look, it's okay. So I'm going to do another part tomorrow. It just, honestly, it really does read like a terrible novel. A sickly, terrible novel. I mean, it is funny. I will say. I mean, it's exasperating, but it is funny the way it's been written. The person does take a rise out of Meghan a bit in this, which is interesting. So yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments, whether or not you want me to continue with this. Do you want me to do the next part tomorrow and then maybe another part Friday? So let me know what you think. If you're enjoying my commentary on my analysis on this narcissistic personality that is Rachel. Because yes, okay, so that's, I'm seeing a lot of that. People, out of respect for Thomas Markle and his family, I'm going to try and remember to call her Rachel Ragland, because that is her name. That is her name. So it's not like we're doing anything really wrong. But out of respect for them, and I do understand that, because they don't want her to have that name, and I do get that. So Rachel, I will try and remember. I will slip up probably occasionally, but I will try and remember. So let me know what you think in the comments. And also I want to say to you, would you like, because I'm going to do a little bit of waffle in a minute, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the podcast, her podcast. But let me know if you want me to go in depth a little bit with these podcasts. I can do that. I will suffer it for you guys. So yeah, so let me know what you think. So thank you to everybody who has watched this so far. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you like more of my videos, then maybe you would consider subscribing to the channel, because it's growing. We are now at, I believe, at time of recording, 17,800, I believe, subscribers. So that we are 200 away from being, oh, my voice nearly went, 18,000 subscribers. It's amazing. So thank you so much to all of you who are supporting what I'm doing here. We are creating a great little community of like-minded people that want the truth. We want to sift through the BS, and we want to help and support each other. So it's important that we keep doing what we're doing. So thank you so much. All of my info, links, whether it's to my email address, everything will be in the description box of the video. So if you need to contact me, please email me there. But please bear in mind, I have a huge backlog of emails. I'm kidding you not. I am sifting my way through. So if it's been a couple of months and I haven't answered you, please go in and resend the email to me. If there's something important that you need to know, if you are sending me things in the email and you don't need a reply, just put in the reference bar, don't need a reply. And that helps me then go through emails that do need a reply from me. So thank you to everyone. Now, if you want to stay for the waffle, it's coming up next. The waffle alert is coming now. But for the rest of you, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Take care. Bye. So now we have got that out of the way. Honestly, my thoughts on this article, it's amusing. It is amusing. But I can understand why people are becoming increasingly frustrated. But however, I have gone on social media. Well, I say social media. I've gone on Instagram. I've gone on YouTube, because I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on any other platform. It's interesting that today, obviously, and I did get this wrong yesterday, and I do apologize. I did say that it was the anniversary yesterday. Well, it is today. And I put the photographs up yesterday, so obviously I haven't done that today, and bless her heart. But it's interesting, that is what is coming out, is that Mariah Carey called her a diva. And honestly, because I saw the snippet on Meghan Kelly's podcast that she does, the show. I will see if I can find it and then put the link in the description box. It's hilarious. So apparently Mariah Carey, I didn't listen to the whole thing, because if you want me to delve into it, I will. But because I've still got so much to do. I've still got more of the Tom Bower book to give you. But she's just the gift that keeps on giving. It's like, Meghan, Rachel, so just give me a minute. I need to catch up before you do something else crazy. So Mariah actually calls her a diva, and Rachel's brain just went into scramble mode. You could really hear how she was not expecting this. She did not know how to deal with this. So obviously she couldn't cut it out, because I'm guessing that this gets edited. Now, she couldn't cut this out because I guess Mariah Carey, if you're starting to cut out things that people are talking about, conversations, etc., it's going to look pretty bad. So I guess she's had to leave that in. But what she has done is added a bit at the end where she feels the need to justify and explain that she's not a diva. And she does it in a way, she's like, me? A diva? No. I was so shocked, and I thought that, is my girl crush of Mariah Carey coming to an end? Honestly, the nauseatingness of it all. It's not even a word, nauseatingness. It's not even a word. But she feels the need to explain this, because in that moment, Mariah Carey threw her. She was not expecting this. You can absolutely tell she doesn't, because she tries to sort of explain it a little way. But then what she does is that she says that apparently it was down to, because I'm guessing what Mariah realized is is in a way is Meghan's reaction was not great. So I guess Mariah kind of was trying to kind of bring it down a little bit by kind of going, well, you know, it's about kind of what you wear and, you know, and the way you kind of are and stuff like that. So of course Meghan latches onto that, and at the end she said, but of course she wasn't calling me a diva. She was saying it's about what I wear. No, Meghan, Rachel, I'm not gonna remember this. She was calling you a diva. Because it's not, you know, at least Mariah Carey owns it. She's like, yeah, I'm a diva. Here I am, loud and proud, don't care. Whatever. But, of course, Rachel cannot have anyone believe that she is, because she's trying to act as if she's this victim, this someone that just, you know, oh, I'm just so poor me, poor me, poor me. Well, that doesn't fit if you're a diva. It doesn't fit, does it? So she can't have that. So she's literally done this damage control at the end where she's like, no, I'm not a diva. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you've been called out by the biggest diva of them all, who would know a diva if she saw one. And she called you out, and she did not like it one bit. And I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. And of course, that is what is being shown around, is that Mariah Carey called her a diva. So then not only that, on top of that, we have the fact that Nelson Mandela's grandson has gone all out to have a go at Meghan. Now, obviously, I haven't got to the bit where she said what she said, but that is everywhere. She is being absolutely slammed for this. To have the grandson of Nelson Mandela call you out is huge. And I would imagine that waking up this morning, Meghan, Rachel, is fast realizing that she's just made a huge mistake. This is what happens when you go out on your own and you do not have the protection of the royal family. Because what I think is going on is that they have separated. They are doing their own thing. They're still trying to create the illusion of being together, but they're not. So, of course, the royal family, I would imagine, are also distancing themselves a little bit from her. So she's now it's possible that something's going on behind the scenes, because there is a lot of the fact that she's now using her name, Meghan, the other one, albeit that I appreciate that the family don't want her using that, but I can understand why. But it's interesting that she's now doing this. So I think that she's now on her own in a way. So even her PR team cannot undo this damage. They can't. I think she's alienated South Africans. The one good thing I will say is that they don't seem to be putting, I mean, there have been a lot of things, but they don't seem to be lumping Harry in with this with her. They are singling her out, quite rightly so, in this instance. I'm not saying Harry hasn't done enough, but he has. But for this, they've singled her out on this because she's the one that said it. So the same with the comment that she's obviously made, and Nelson Mandela's grandson has said, you know, this is absolutely nothing the same as you marrying a white prince. And I understand that. I understand where he's coming from with this. Obviously, I can't empathise with it because I haven't been through something like that, but I can understand his outrage and how just out of touch she really is. Because even if this did happen, which I don't believe, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe that this person said this to her. But even if they did, why would you mention it? Why would you mention it? You know how serious this was for Nelson Mandela, what he went through. Why on earth would you open your trap and mention this to have it printed? Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And like I say, it just shows how out of touch she is. But it was brilliant. The fact that in the news, I mean, again, it frustrates me that she has monopolized the news, but at least it's in a way that nobody's on her side with this. And she's losing people. You know, the one group, in a way, if you want to look at it that way, of her supporters were people of colour. They were supporting her. But by attacking South Africa, by now referring to yourself as the same as Nelson Mandela, in a way, your wedding was the same, she's alienating them. Her literally probably the remaining of her fan base. She's always, like I say, she's always going to have her diehard fans, but she's alienating them. And this is what happens. Like, we've now seen the real Harry. leaving the folds of the royal family, we've now seen the real Harry, and what a spoilt, petulant man-child that he is. Well, now we're seeing the real Meghan. She's going out on her own. She's not kind of cushioned behind, in a way, behind Harry. And so this is now what we're seeing. This podcast is the real her. You know, this interview is showing her narcissism is leaping off the page here. And people are seeing it, and that's glorious, because the more awareness we raise for this, and this is what happens with narcissism, narcissistic personality types, if you leave them to it, they will expose themselves eventually. They can't help themselves because their egos become so huge that they think they're untouchable, that eventually they will do something. If you sit back and literally do nothing, like, for example, again, when I was dealing with when I've dealt with people that have dealt with bullies or anything else, for the most part, you say nothing. I mean, it's okay to say something, like I would stick up for myself, and I would make one, like I did one video, one comment, but then you say nothing. That's it. You say your bit. That's it. Leave it. Do nothing. And eventually, the person that's doing it will think they've got away with it, and they will then do something, and they will become exposed. Like I say, you will always get diehard fans that no matter what they do will believe them. But most people that use their brain and are intelligent, they can see it for what it is. They're now seeing her for what she is. Even the American media is turning against her. And this is unfortunately all in her own making. And it's quite glorious to watch. So yeah, so let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think that she's literally creating her own demise? And like I said in the yesterday's video, I don't believe they're together. I think they are now. This is why they're doing separate things. I think this is it, that I think we're moving into now. The divorce might not happen, because I think they probably have to iron things out behind the scenes, but I absolutely think they've separated, and I think they only will get together for the odd thing to create the illusion, which they've been doing. But you can see by the body language they're not in love. They're really not. But I do think it is it's unfortunately, when these are the consequences you face. If you do these things, you cannot expect for it not to have consequences. And this is what we're seeing. And this is for every one of us. You know, you do these things. If you are not a very nice person, and you lie, manipulate, gaslight, you will see those consequences. If you tell the truth, you have nothing to worry about. But if you don't, well, I guess at some point it's going to come out. So, and here we are. So I will do a video tomorrow. So let me know what you think. If you would like me to not do any more, then okay. But if the majority of you say yes, then I will. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Do you want me to kind of look into those a little bit? I do appreciate that I will do a couple more chapters of the Tom Bower book. What else? Don't forget my live with Trev on Friday. Hopefully, I think he's back in the UK. So hopefully, if he's not too jet lagged, we'll be able to do that. I will touch base with him. And yeah, so that is it from me. So I will see you in tomorrow's video. So don't forget to like if you do, subscribe, please. That would be great, because it helps the algorithm. Thank you to everybody who's commenting, who's supporting the channel in one form or another. All of the links to everything, to being a member, Patreon, Facebook group, merchandise, PO box, everything is in the description box of the video. So everything is there. So you shouldn't have to go looking elsewhere for it. Albeit that some of the things are in the intro page and on my main YouTube page as well. So I will see you tomorrow, guys. So I will see you then. So take care, Bubble family. I love you. I appreciate you. But most of all, I respect you. Mwah. Bye.